This is the Decor and Lifestyle Center. I'm sure you all saw the title and know what this is about. This wedding is about love and vibes. So if you're come for that, you can stay. If you're come for that and cross state, this is not the place. Hi, welcome, come right in. If you're visiting this channel for the very first time, I'm Charlene. But as we get into the video, I want to put a little bit of context right here before we even get happy. I haven't done a lot of weddings over the years, and it's for a really good reason. I took on what I believe to be my very, very first wedding. And let me tell you something, your girl was messy. Messy, was not ready. I'll never forget the look on the bride's face when she walked into the venue. Things that stick out in my mind since that is that I had used hurricane candle on the table, on the centerpieces. And let me tell you something, I'm not talk hurricane lantern or hurricane lamp decor. That's not what I'm talking about. I talk the candle you use in your house. When JP set them light, at that news on the woman table, and I tell you, that bride cried. I have not forgotten the look on her face. Needless to say, we were able to patch it up many years later. But the other day, I was doing a project and her now ex-husband came to deliver the things on the project. And when he walked in and saw me, he was like, wow, Charlene, you know? I think he was, for want of a better word, a little impressed, you know, when he came and saw me on the project. But it was an interior space that I was doing. Let me tell you something. I have not forgotten how that bride cried. Tears, and it was definitely not tears of joy. That moment stayed with me. And from then on, I decided that I was going to step away from weddings because I never wanted that responsibility to disappoint somebody on a day like that. I was responsible for the decor, for the venue. I was responsible for the wedding cake. I'm almost certainly responsible for church, but that is such a blur in my mind right now. But yeah, so I'm not do that. We leave that to the people who specialize in those things. I took on way too much with very little experience. Outside a lack of experience, me did eat after people and money too. Me never have the money to fix them wedding the way it's supposed to go. Let me hasten right here to tell you some of the challenges that I had to undergo with this project. Now, if you see me stitching fabric with a stapler, it's for a really good reason. Because this wedding was taking place 2 days after Christmas and everywhere locked. Nobody not have nothing. We couldn't get tablecloths. We couldn't get chair cover. We couldn't listen. Everything was just such a rush. There were actually a couple of times when I thought about not doing this wedding. This groom is actually somebody that I know very, very well. And let me tell you something, Chris. I have never asked Chris to do me a favor. Or if I have an issue and I'm talking to Chris will just tell me how he can help me. And so when he called me and said, Charlene, I'm going to need your help with this. He honestly thought he could have done it himself because Chris is very handy like that. Chris can help himself. But I think he got a little bit overwhelmed and then he decided to call me. Chris is such a beautiful soul. And walking away from this project at this late stage of the game, I think would have created chaos. So I just push on through. I have to pause right here to talk about my assistant. Cindy had a job that the morning of the wedding. And Cindy said, Charlene, I'm going to come and help you before I go to work. Because, let me tell you something. I could not do this without Cindy. And Cindy realized that I was getting a little bit stressed with how much I had to do and not being able to find persons to assist me. And she said, listen, I come do it. Cindy even took home the centerpieces like days before the wedding and did them up that is the level of commitment that I have with Cindy. While I was at the wedding, I realized I needed things out of storage. And I have called Kali. I said, Kali, go get them here for me. And I'm tell you, I don't know, I'm just surrounded by God bless people. And I am God blessed to have them. I have to be very honest here though. A lot of the information got lost and a lot of the questions weren't asked simply because I was trying to do this in record time and I just jumped into work mode. One of the key issues though is that I didn't even get a chance to do a site visit, which is key in a situation like this because of the logistics that we had to jump over to make that happen. It just didn't happen. And so I got a lot of surprises when I went to the venue because a lot of things were just surprises to me. There was a lot of hardscape. I was working with just a video that Chris had sent me. And so there was a lot of hardscape and my intention was just to try and soften it. I didn't ask any question about the cake. I thought somebody was gonna come to set that up. And so even that was a surprise for me. But nevertheless, I made sure that I was prepared. I made sure that I packed well. When I was going there, I did overpack because I wasn't sure what I was going to be dealing with. And so the cake was a surprise. I'm not going to lie to you. But separate and apart from that though, I think the wedding had all the essentials without being over the top. Simple, tasteful, and intentional. The fabric work was key. White stitched together to fall to the floor, layered with rich gold fabric that mimic an overlay, and accents of soft florals with a little touch of pink. Now that to me, touch of pink was genius because I know that the possibility exists the gold and white would fall a little flat, even though I was using different values of the gold. The cake was a commercial sheet cake, and Chris had also bought cupcake stands to the venue. Now, when the cake came, I had to be creative. So what I basically did was to use the cupcake stand to create a tiered effect on top of the sheet cake. And that created a wedding cake. I created a tiered look on spot. It wasn't the original plan, but aesthetically it worked. When they arrived, everybody loved the space. Meeting the bride for the very first time was truly a treat. So the couple brought the love and the guests brought the vibes. I want to be intentional about this aspect of the video because watching this wedding was truly beautiful. It wasn't about perfection, it was about love and vibes. What stayed with me most was how deeply the couple cared about each other, how effortlessly the love flowed between them. When the groom told me he was 45, I smiled because that is a seasoned age. When you know who you are, what you want, and the choices you're making for the long haul. Over the years, I've seen people focus on so much of the optics of the wedding. But the real beauty is who you will still choose 40 years from now. And when you look back and say, it was well done. I know I could not have been the only one that this has happened to. Have you ever under-delivered on a project that you're being paid to execute? What are some of your takeaways? What are some of the lessons that you would pass on to somebody who's just entering the decor space? Well, you know what a few of mine have been because I've spoken about them openly on this channel in an effort to try and help someone.